Okay, there's two things I want to point out, and one of them might very well fix the other one. So you have a pretty steep takeaway. What that means is the club head at this point is way out here in front of your hands, from this angle to the right of your hands. And what ends up happening is your arm gets up here pretty high. So let me just compare you to a pro. Okay, so here's Colin Morikawa, and you can see as he takes the club away, the club is a little bit in front of his hands, but yours would be like, like out there. And I loaded him up because he has a bit of a steeper than average takeaway. So you can see here his arm, his left arm is a little bit above his right shoulder. So usually the rule for a very neutral swing is for that arm to be like covering the right shoulder, and his is actually a little bit above that. Yours is like way above that. So you won't see many pros with it as steep as yours. There are some, obviously, but it's something to consider, and I think it's more of a product of your takeaway being so steep in general. So if you were to at this point, get the club head more over here, by the time you get to the top, it'll probably fix itself. And then I think what you would see is this elbow. Right now, it just at the top, it's kind of very scrunched here. Let me go back for a second. So with Colin at the top, you can see that elbow, how it has more of a, like a 90 degrees this way. Hold on. His is more like that. Yours is more like in front of you, if that makes sense. I'm talking about this angle here. So, by fixing this takeaway bit, like all of it might kind of fix itself after that. And that might also fix the next thing I'm going to say, which is you do have a bit of like an over-the-top action. I don't think it's precisely over the top, but see, the club is coming down in front of your hands, just like the way it came up. And so traditionally what over the top would mean is that this is your backswing, and your downswing would come like this way, like over the top of the backswing plane. You're actually coming below it. So it's like that's a good general motion, but it's still, because you're so steep, it's still too steep coming down. So let me compare you again. So here you can see with Colin Morikawa, as the club comes down, you see how much more behind him it is, the club head? See, like at this point here, I mean, he's got a little more lag than you, but you can see it's coming more like behind him, and yours is coming more like in front of your hands. See, like right at that point, the club head is like at his hands, and yours is in front. But that might just be because of the takeaway as well. So if you had a more neutral takeaway, so instead of being so steep on the way back, if you were more neutral on the way back, then you might just kind of do that naturally. So you might not need to even think about that. So the nice thing is that the only thing you need to worry about is this position right here. Just get the club more over here. That's going to be a little bit mostly to do with like rolling your arms, if that makes sense. Like your forearms need to kind of like twist. That should bring the club more this way. It could be your wrists a little bit as well. I can't tell exactly, because like your arms are in a good position. Your arms are like nice and straight at this point, which is good. But that's what you want to see. I mean, maybe it's just a psychological thing of just imagine the club coming back this way instead of like that way. But you just kind of try some stuff out, film it, and see what it looks like. But I think once you do that, this other stuff will kind of fix itself.